50 of our electronic music jam sessions. We have a special guest that is right there that we'll put through just after I introduce him. It's Hypersia. He's a really amazing producer who produced track who's got released on an amazing label. He produced mainly Uplifting Trance in FL Studio, and is taking one of his latest track, which actually get a release out onto a very good label, and he showed it off to us, like showing all the parts and really explain what is happening. So I will leave it to Hypersia. The template's online too if you want to check it. Check below the video. Hope you guys enjoy, and since I'm not going to be here at the end, may the sounds be with you.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Hypersia. This is a special episode of Music Jam with womendancemusic.com. I'm here to show you one of my latest track I did in big room trance genre in the FL Studio. The track is released as a main theme or main anthem of a label. So I'm here to show you the layers, the scenes, and other things I use in this project. So stay tuned with me. I will show you all the things I use in this project. See you soon.
And I want to show you a little preview of a track first, and then we're going to the layers and details. Because of CPU problem, I tried to turn off some layers, and I get export the wave file, for example this bass line, these flag sounds. Okay, let me show you the first 33 bars here, which is the first melody of a track. The first layer is a main kick or the kick drum of the track. Let me open the kick for you. First, in the step sequencer, we have a kick 2 and kick 1, which is a main kick. The kick 2 is an intro kick. It's the same sample of a main kick here, but as you can see here, there is some difference in the waveform of these samples. They are same sample, but there is some difference from main kick and the intro kick here. The intro kick sounds like this, very small and kind of filtered sounds, and the main kick is banging big drum kick, yeah, with a massive sub bass into it, this sample. So what is the difference, and what comes how I made this massive kick to this tiny little baby here? The track is so simple. I'm sure a lot of you know about it. If you're using Virtual Loops or FL Studio, there is a section here in and out for like cutting off or changing the waveform of a sample in this short structure for editing the sample in the FL Studio. In section, you can edit the intro, the introduction of the waveform, and the out is just you can edit the end part, the end part of a sample. So the thing I did is just using this knob. Yeah, as you can see, the kick was like this, and changed this ending part, and yeah, that's so tiny right now. So that was a trick. Of course, you could use other things. For example, you could go to your mixer and use some EQing, for example, Pro Q2, Fab Filter, and try low cutoff here on your main kick, and yeah, it's the same, but for me that was a so cool and fast way to have this layer in my project. So that was the first one. So let me show you this kick solo. Okay, the second part, the second sound was a clap. The clap sounds from Vengeance Sound, I believe. It's so simple. I'm sure you can find these kind of samples in your loop and percussion sample banks. So this is a sample I used, and I tried to manage and control the end part of this sample by writing the notes in the piano roll. That was a clever idea for me, because you could change, of course, these knobs again, but for me that was a cool idea to have these clap sounds in exact timing in the piano roll. In a mixer, I believe I used some EQing. Yeah, simple EQing in the mixer, a little bit cut off on the mid-range for the sample, clap sample. That was enough thing. And of course, cutting off the low frequency, for example, cutting from at least cutting all thing below 50 frequency, 50 hertz. So the third one is a ride. It's so important to have a good and wide sample of a ride sound in your track, especially in the background trance, which is so the whole track is kind of empty, and you have to fill the atmosphere of a track with massive wide samples, for example wide rides, good crash, reverse crash, and massive wide bass lines. So that was a good sample I used. Now that's a clap. This is a ride. Another good sample. It's so simple. And a little bit of EQing here, and as in this section we're going to the first drop of a track, the intro drop, like other genre in the EDM, especially in trance. We need some lifters or uplifters and drum rolls, snare rolls, to feel the atmosphere of a track before the drop, the release section. So I use some samples, simple samples from Vengeance banks. The first one is a kick roll. The other one is a clap roll. And put these layers in a separated mixer channel, changing the frequencies and boosting or cut off some frequencies in the EQing. And finally I used some little snares and field drums only seconds before going to the first part of a drop. So I named this sample Big Snare and try to use this sample 2 times. Yeah, and this clap roll here. See, that sounds so cool. The other layers, just simple effects here. I'm sure you know about using some effects, for example reverse effects, reverse crashes, and other things. I don't want to go to details of these layers, as managing and controlling these samples is so simple. I'm sure you can find these samples in your banks and sample banks. The first one is a reverse crash, for example. Just put some simple side chain on it, from Kickstart, my favorite sidechain plugin here on EQing, cutting a low frequency, and same for the crash. And I named this sample reverb clap. Yeah, same process in a mix down, and copied this sample and reversed it here. Yeah, that's so simple things to fill in your atmosphere in the track. But the main things, the main sample, the main sounds getting to start here. The first one is a bass line. Bass lines comes from 3 separated layers. I named bass line 1, 2, and 3, and as you can see here, there is 4 different automation on the layers. For example, cutting the low frequencies and controlling the side chaining and other things. I will show you the all things I use here in the next part of the track. The first bass line comes from Spire. As I told you before, I turned off some layers because of CPU problems, so I will turn on these layers here. The first one is bassline 1. I copied a clone the same sound, the same channel to other channel, and it's a simple trick to have a more stereo sounds. I try to have a fully left side sound and the fuller right sound so that could help you to have a more wide sound your final mix down. So yeah, the first bassline, the right sound, and the left sound. It's not this sound is not very complicated. It's just a simple wave sound. I use 3 oscillator of a Spire, and in a mix down you can see I use LFO. The LFO, the reason I use is just for the having the triplet sounds. Next part of the track I will show you the triplet sound, but I attach these channels to the main channel of a bassline, which is bassline master, and you can see here I use equalizer for EQing, limiter for controlling the peaks in the bassline, side chaining. For side chaining, I always using Nicky Romero and Kickstart, and Fruity filter for filtering, and LFO tool, as I told you, for triplet sounds, and again a FFA per Q for cutting off the high frequency to fading out the sounds when I'm going to the sounds going to the breakdown or something like this. So yeah, that was an old process in the bass lines. The first bass line was like this, and the second one is again I use 2 layers in the right and left for a more stereo and wide sound. The second bass line sounds like this. Let me show you in the mixer. Bassline 2. More brighter sound maybe, again from Spire. And the third one again from Spire, and sounds like this. No, that was a bass 2, sorry. This is the bass 3. Yeah, more delay and reverb on the third bass line for having more atmosphere in your track. So let me turn off these sounds again because it's a CPU problem, and again I will play all these sounds together for you. Yeah, the next sound is pluck. The main pluck, I named the main pluck. The main pluck comes from Spire rigging and sounds like this. It's just a simple detuned trancey sound with some delay and reverb. Let me show you each oscillator separately. For example, the first one sounds like this. The second one. The third one. And the last oscillator sounds like this. Just a simple noise sound, all things together with massive cutoff. Yeah, that sounds so big room sounds. Okay, let me turn it off here and play the waveform with all automation here. Another sounds, for example, the atmosphere sounds. It's just simple. Yeah, that's a vocal sounds, downlifters and uplifters. Yeah, other effects, the track, and here it is. Okay, guys. After first drop in the intro, which is sounds like this. You can see here the main kick playing right here. And clap on rights comes with this pluck sound, so dark and epic sounds. Look at the automation here, and then the breakdown starts. Let me explain you the sounds I use in the breakdown, the break section of the track. First one, absolutely, we're going to the main melody here. For example, I want to open this pad here. It's so simple writing in melody. Just only one chord, which is A minor. I turned off or removed the middle note, which is Sol or G of the chord, and used the harmonic notes in the top line, in the top octaves of the scale, which is E minor. The other sounds are these sounds. The first one is this. I try to find some good sample, dark sample, as the name of the track is This Is The Anarchy, and the project, the whole track is about anarchy, the chaos, you know. So these sounds really helped me to have this atmosphere in the track.
What happened here anyway?
Yeah, he pulled out a gun.
He did?
Yes, the Hells Angels took the gun away from him. One of them has it now, he showed it to me.
A simple reverb, I use art acoustic reverb, EQing, and side chaining, of course low filtering here with filter loops, filter plugin. Other sound is like this, like a walkie-talkie, you know. I named another sample police effects with a simple volume control automation. Same process in the mixer, reverb, EQ and filtering, side chaining. All these together.
Try to keep him alive, and when we got here, the doctor checked him out, and we pronounced him dead and
With the saw pad comes from Sino 1, simple south sine sound, volume control automation, and the pad with the automation control, the cutoff. Yeah, that's all thing I use in breakdown. Then the other sounds, like this main plug sound, this other plug sound. Plug 2 comes from Spire, I guess, again. Yeah, Spire. Let me turn on the static cursor here for you. The rhythm is so important, this kind of style, because you want to introduce the epic sounds, so you have to write rhythm for your lead sound. So it sounds like this. Doop, 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 doop. EQ, picking control, reverb, delay with each edge delay in the wave plugins, and other processing the plugin here in the plug sound. Right comes, and all lifters comes here. For the main drop, we're going to main drop here. Another sample is here. I named it Countdown sample. I downloaded this sample on the internet. It's very easy to have these samples in your project, because I'm sure you can find this sample on the internet these days.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
This is the original sample, and I edited this sample with cutting some simple waveforms and giving this sample a little bit of reverb, delay, and EQ, low frequency cutoff. Gain these snares. But I think it's so different in the main drop. I changed the rhythm of the bass line. These basses are the same, but the rhythm is changed. And yeah, here is the plug sounds again. The plug sounds same as a break with effects, but I wanted to feel the gap between each rhythm in the main plug in the drop section with the bass lines, but not the exact rhythm in the intro of the bass lines, with a different rhythm, which is this. And here is the second break is starting. tried to use a cinematic drum here because the track is epic and dark. And again, going to the build up, but another massive drop section here, but the drop here is kind of different. Yeah, this is a triplet sound, the triplet drop here. You could use triplet rhythm in the piano roll and writing the rhythm, the triplet rhythm for other sounds, for example the bass lines, the blacks, but I try to use another trick which is faster and easier for this part of a track. As I told you before, I guess I told you, I try to use the LFO. The LFO has a preset here called triplet, the 60 triplet. I use this simple preset from LFO, and I put the LFO plugin in other layers, for example all three bass lines and the plugs, plug 2, main plug, plug 3, and I turn on the LFO exactly the moment the second break is starting to play. Listen to the drop here again. The LFO tool getting to start to rise up here. Yes, this is the moment. Yeah, that was a cool preview of this project for you. I will put this project to wemakedancemusic.com as an exclusive template for you guys. You can find this template in my profile at wemakedancemusic.com. My profile is Hypersia, and I hope you liked what I did in the project. And if you like this kind of sounds, please let me know. I'm sure I can produce this kind of tracks, maybe from the scratch for you, as another exclusive template for this massive website. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for